Hey, leaders. Wow, what a great time we had together last Saturday night. It was pretty amazing. Great fellowship, awesome food together. And boy, some of you that shared some testimonies were pretty amazing testimonies about what Caesar's impact has been upon you. And it was just overall a great night. Boy, there was just a presence of God there that was so strong. And I shared a little bit about the lost art of loyalty and talking about faithfulness and how where we live in a world where people are so unfaithful and disloyal that the way we actually do spiritual warfare against it is by being the exact opposite. And that's who our church is. We're loyal, faithful people. And that all in itself counters the activities of the enemy in the area. We also talked about the kind of refreshed us on the vision of how Pam and I got here and how we were sent down here by Pastor Wendell. And after Pastor Rocky had been here, he started the church, done a great job, had a great vision to reach people. And then Pastor Bruce came in, Bruce and Cindy, and then we came down, and as Pastor Bruce contacted Pastor Wendell and said, "Hey, if you want this church, you can. Do you want this church?" And he said, "Yes, we do." And so he sent Pam and I down here just for 3 months, but obviously that 3 months has now turned into 8 years. And when I got ready to come, I said I was willing to do it just based on Pastor Wendell sending us. And because we really believe in being under authority, and so just based on Pastor Wendell's word, we were willing to come down here. But I also said, Lord, it'd be great if I had a scripture, and the Lord said, you'll find it in Romans chapter 9, and it talks about Isaiah's prophecy, where he talks about people who are like the sand by the seashore. And when I saw those words, I knew that God was confirming that He was indeed setting us here. And He said, there's a remnant of people, and that God wanted to finish the work that He had begun. And I believe that the work that He had begun here in the Central Coast wasn't just with our church, although I believe our church is to be a catalyst to what He is doing here, but it was something that He wanted to finish, that He had started. And so many prophets had prophesied about here on the Central Coast about a great revival, about this being a place of refuge. And I also shared about how I was in a meeting before we moved down here with Reinhard Bonnke, and he was praying on the platform. I was standing down below the platform while he was praying. I had a vision of the pier in Pismo Beach, and I saw these giant speakers on the pier, and I saw a handful of people standing on the pier, and these speakers were turned outward to project sound way out. If you've ever seen a Reinhard Bonnke service where he has 1 million people, he has these speakers that can actually lob sound way out, for a mile or so. Anyhow, I saw these speakers, and then I saw on both sides of the pier thousands and thousands of people, because that was the only place that was big enough to handle what God was going to do here in the Central Coast. Well, I still believe that, and we've had other confirmations along the way where I had a vision of people standing against the glass of the door waiting to get into the next service, and so I believe that is the calling of God on our church. As Pastor Caesar came in and talked a couple of weeks ago and said we're a revival church, and we started to talk about what does that mean to be a revival church. Well, I believe it means that all of us are involved. Everyone is excited. Everyone has activated his gifts and talents, and that certainly happened last Saturday night. It was pretty amazing when you all prayed for me and Pam, and just the Spirit of God came in the room, and there was a spirit of prophecy there, and we were greatly encouraged by that. Hey, also for this summer, we are giving an assignment for you, those of you that were not in the meeting. We have the plan part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is that we're asking you as leaders to, during June and July, to at least once during the month, to have a time of fellowship. We're calling it the Summer of Fellowship, to have a time of fellowship with a group of people. It could be 3 people, it could be 20 plus people. But we're asking you to do something, specifically plan for it, and I'll send you with this the attachment so you can read it. And so we're asking you to do something like, it could be anything. Do a barbecue, have a game night, go to the park, go to the beach, have a cup of coffee with some people. But we're asking you to do this with people that you don't know, that they aren't your family. It's people outside that you may not know in the church. And then part 2 of the plan. So we want you to do that by part 1. We want you to do that June and July. So we'd like you to get with some people. You can do more than one time with people, and you can do different people each time. But we ask you to get with people that you don't know and in the church and spend some time with them. Plan part 2 is that we're going to have a connect group for you to build you up and to encourage you and to strengthen and equip you for the fall season. And that's going to be during August. And we're going to have it on Tuesday nights at our house, August 12th, August 19th, and August 26th. Now, here's what Paul wrote in Ephesians chapter 4. He said this. He said, when every part does its part, the body grows and builds itself in love. And so as you and I